Hey, show fam, Amelia Adair here. I hope you guys are feeling good and doing good. I'm feeling good. I'm doing good. You know, I got a great topic for you always. I got a great topic for you. But before we get started, let me put that $1,000,000 into your life. Okay, drop that on your lap real quick. You know what I'm saying? Because remember, close enough is perfect. So even if we get about 500,000. We'll take 500,000, all right? So let's continue what we was talking about yesterday. So fam, yesterday my phone died, and I was just like, let me just post it. So we're gonna continue what we was talking about yesterday about where's that house, and we left off on a great spot, and I was sitting there like, ooh, yeah, I know I was stressed. By the time I got my phone back on and did this, I was like, we're gonna have to just resume because it messed up the vibe. You know what I'm saying? So here we are. Part 2, where is this house, right? And we was just talking about where are the results, right? We were talking about the results, and we were talking about ignoring the results. Sometimes we meet people and we ignore their results, and then we sitting around waiting for, I don't know, a miracle to come down. And miracles happen. Don't get me wrong, baby. Ooh. Miracles happen at the right time, when it's needed, and when work has been done, right? So we want to talk, let's not go too far off topic, right? We want to talk about, we ended with having better judgment and knowing like, okay, if you dislike something, it's okay to dislike something, and that's having better judgment, but you don't want to be too judgmental by feeding it and going too far and just like acting like you're, you know, the judge, okay? There's only one person that can judge, all right? We know who that is. Only God can judge us, all right? So let's continue talking about results, all right? What results look like? What are we looking for? What does that mean? You know, sometimes we be like results, and I'm like this too, so fam, I'll be like, hold on, I need more details. I need you to, give me some realistic, you know what I'm saying? Give me some realistic examples so I know what I'm doing when I go out there in these streets, right? We out here in these streets, we out here like, ooh. So you just want to be mindful of the way when you're looking at someone. So let's put it into context, okay? So let's relate it to relationships, because y'all know we love relationships, okay? And not personal relationships, although I know y'all love that, but more of like friendships, right? Friendship, you're trying to build a friendship, and you keep falling short, and you're just like, you know, I'm just not gonna not have friends. Having friends is beautiful, babe. Having friends is a beautiful thing, all right? We just have to choose better and get better with ourselves within, okay? So remember, we are what we attract. So we just have to be mindful of who we are. If you're mindful of who you are, you'll know who you want to spend time with and who you don't want to spend time with, right? Who's kind of always in the mix, right? So you can have someone that's always in the mix, meaning always in some drama, right? So you have to ask yourself, okay, why is this person always in drama? Like, what is happening here? And I'm gonna be honest with you, so fam, there was a point where I came to a realization that like, this was like before a lot of my healing, and I was like, yo, I always had a story to tell, like one of my friends, and she was like, yeah, you always in some mess. And I had to realize, I'm like, wow, I was always in some mess. Why is it that I'm always in some mess? Like, So you have to have a self-check and make sure you're not a mess inside. That's really what it is. Sometimes we're a mess inside. We hurting and we don't know we're hurting. We're giving too much and we're not aware that we're giving too much. And I know definitely as women, we have this desire. We are built to give, okay? We are built to please at a certain amount, right? We're built to please our partners. We're built to please our friends, you know? So we have to just be mindful that we're not overdoing it, because we're not aware that the value of our friendships isn't placed on how much we give them, right? So this was definitely one of my, I guess you could say, bumps in the road, right? Where I felt like, okay, if I want to have a good friendship, then I have to give them so much. And so I was the one just giving so much that by the time I gave, I had nothing left for myself. And this is more of like time, energy, love, advice, and more importantly, time. Just giving so much of my time and giving so much of my, I guess you could say, like, myself. You know, we are all gifts, okay? Not in a, ooh, but we are all gifts. And sometimes we don't believe that. We just think like, I'm just a girl and this. No, you a gift. You a gift because you come and you are helpful just like everyone around you. Everyone around you has a great way to add to your life. You know, it's a give and take. It's a two-way street. That's what I'm gonna say. And so you don't want to be in that place where you're just over giving, over pleasing, over believing that the more you give yourself, the more the relationship is going to grow. No, relationships grow, right? When you guys have great communication two ways. Meaning they're not always looking for you to be the party. They're not always looking for you to be the host. They're not always looking for you to help them on short ends. They're not always looking for you to make the plans. And I could go on. All right. And this was definitely something that I guess I can say, I'm trying to think like, why did I suffer from struggle with this so much? At the time, lack of self-love. You know, like you kind of need outside people to bring fun into your life, peace into your life, and excitement. And it's like you kind of need people around to feel like you're living. And that's not true. You could be living by yourself and having a good time and not be so consumed with the media. So a lot of us, we get by ourselves and then we become so consumed with having to watch people and having to have entertain mind 24/7. It's about learning how to have just a quiet mind. Just some low tunes. Like sometimes I don't like I have my playlist. Y'all know I love my playlists. I love me a playlist. But I also love me just beats. You know, like just some calm beats or some calm jazz, some calm instruments on real low, you know, and just creating positive thoughts, right? Creating positive movements, creating positive ideas. Sometimes we're kind of waiting for it, forgetting, all right, well, let's create it. Let me create it. It's not here. Let me create it. It's negative in here. Let me create some positivity. Let me laugh. Let me watch something that makes me laugh. You know, and not getting so sucked into those negative, I don't even know what to call them, negative holes. There we go. Negative holes. And one way that really like triggers a negative hole is picking at yourself. Constantly picking at yourself, like, oh, this looks bad, this looks that, this. Listen, yes, we're working on ourselves and we're growing and we're working on being better versions of ourselves. There's a fine line, all right? Don't think that you are just, everything about you was horrible, right? You're not making changes because everything was horrible. You know, you're making changes because you just want to see some positive and better results. I want to see something a little more peaceful, right? That was fun. Now let's create something a little bit more peaceful. Let's create a more safer space. Sometimes we don't have that safe space around us, and we unknowingly start searching for it all the time in others. You have to create a safe space within yourself. Create that safe space within yourself. And it is easier said than done. But you have to work on it daily. Like, all right. Like, it's going to be all right. 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 We're going to work through it. This is going to help me. This isn't here to hurt me. This is here to help me. That's creating that safe space. Knowing that, all right, in the future, it's going to be there to help me. It's going to be there to help me. Because before, we were more moving blindly. You know, we were just like reacting instead of responding. So when you create that space within yourself, you start to see it around you, right? So if you're someone like me, like I got Post-its everywhere. Let me put this one here. Let me put this one here. Let me put this one here. I need it in every room, because it just brings me right out of that negativity and into that safe space. Like, all right, God is with me. God is with me. God is with me. I'm good. I'm in the right place. I'm at the right time. And just creating Post-its that are so powerful, right? Like, this truth is so big, it'll overpower any negativity that comes my way, right? So, back on track. Results. Looking at results. Okay, and being mindful. Results is how someone is speaking. That is one of the biggest results. How are they speaking? Meaning, how is their language? How do they perceive themselves? Like, one great way to understand this is like, y'all just hanging out chilling, right? Y'all just having a good time, you and whoever, and y'all start talking about growth, right? Talking about growth, and just hearing how someone talks about their past, right? Knowing like, yeah, there's been some rough times, but I'm still here. Oh, there's so many ways you can say that, right? There's so many ways people say that. They'll be like, you know, this happened, but here I am. You know, this happened, but look how good God is. You know, just someone that could easily take that negative moment and switch it to a positive. How they're speaking, how they're digesting information and relaying it elsewhere later on. All right, those are results. Those are the big results too. Like, wow, look how humble. Look how resourceful. Look how grateful. And definitely seeing how grateful someone is. Someone that's not complaining every time they get something. Let's go into that, so fam. Complaining. Be mindful of how much someone complains. We ignore this, right? Because we live in a negative world, you know, like it's more negative than positive. When someone gets their food, do they always complain about how the food is given? When someone goes outside, are they always complaining about how hot it is, how cold it is? When someone gets a new pair of shoes, do they complain about how this it is, or how a new outfit, do they complain about how expensive it is, how cheap it is? Always finding a reason. It'd be like, what you want? What you want? And I'm gonna be honest, so fam, I struggled with this. I struggled with this because I didn't know, I wasn't aware that I was always complaining. Just complaining, like, this is cute, but it could be better. This is cute, but I could be skinnier. This is cute, but it could be longer. It could be shorter. It could be redder. It could be bluer. It could be picking. You're fine. It's fine the way it is. It's fine. And when I really became, I want to say, grateful, you know, I don't even send my food back at the restaurant. They mess up my food, I don't eat mustard, I'm gonna eat mustard today. I'm gonna just take it. And it's not about just taking less, right? There's a difference. But when someone prepares something that you ask for, right? And you ask for it and maybe it's slightly off, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. But those that are like real particular and real precise, you start to be too nitpicky, right? And you start to be a little unrealistic, right? Like in the real world, when you just go out to the diner, right? There's gonna be a couple scuffs on the floor. There's gonna be a chair that's not perfectly positioned at the bar. You know, everything is not gonna always be coordinated strategically. I had to even learn that about my place. Like sometimes when my place will be a little messy, like I keep this little nice section nice because I'm like, you know, we can't be looking crazy on camera. But when I'm not recording, okay, maybe the counter, maybe it's a little messy. Maybe I didn't put my shoes right back in there, but there's no garbage around. I swept my floors this week. I mopped my floors this week. It smells fresh. I can still light a candle. Sometimes things being a little out of place is okay. Sometimes we're so media based and social media based, we're always like looking for the world to be picture perfect. The world is not gonna always be picture perfect. Your meal is not gonna always be picture perfect. The people you meet are not going to be picture perfect. When you see me, if you see me and I'm just going to the store, I'm not gonna have all this on. I might not even have my wig on. All right, so fam, so you want to be mindful of where that table is at. All right, you don't want to just be blindsided by money, cars, jobs, and things like that. Okay, you want to be mindful of how someone is talking. Make sure they're not always complaining. Okay, see how they speak to other people. It be simple things that we overlook because we are always wrapped up in worldly desires, and worldly things will come. Worldly things will come. All right, you cannot be chasing it. All right, you gotta just be patient, work on you, be positive, and keep walking in truth. They say the truth always comes apart, and it does. And you never know when it will. So try to just look at it from the beginning. All right, Soul Fam, Amelia Adair here. Thank you guys for tuning in. In order to be a part of the Soul Fam, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel, comment from time to time, let me know that you are out there. And the number one of all number ones is apply the knowledge. Apply the knowledge. Okay? Knowledge is key, but applied knowledge will really take you where you need to be. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yes, let the church say yes. Yes, let the church say yes. I don't know where I got that from. But I be laughing because it just be like, you know, when you just hit good word, you just be like, ooh, 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 ooh. Yes. All right, Soul Fam, Amelia Adair here. I'm going to see you at the next win.